Okay, the first lesson we're going to do is make a basic pattern to learn how to do the cross and the twist. To do that, you need a piece of paper. What I like to use is a manila envelope. You can see there's a seam here. It's a nice color because you want to have something that's kind of an off color. That way all the thread really stands out against it, and it's a little bit stiff. And either use contact paper or use shipping tape to put over it. That protects the pattern and it allows it to be used multiple times because you can poke through the same hole. All right, so let's start with the basic pattern. The basic is just to learn how to do the cross and the twist. So what you do, to start with, you would just draw a line because this thing is just going to be a line. Now you can, if you want to, you can place a dot on the line to practice with. You don't have to, but I'm doing it for instructional purposes. Okay, once you do that, you get your, let me enlarge this. You take your tape or contact paper, place it over your piece, and that gives you the durability, so you can use it over and over and over again. Then you would cut, that's the wrong pair of scissors, cut out your pattern. You want to have a little bit of space around your pattern to actually be able to pin it to your pillow. You cut this off the top. Okay, so now I got my pattern. Of course, I usually do a better job of it, but this will give me my start. Now let me grab a pillow real quick. It's up on the top shelf. Well, my stuff is in the way. Let me move everything out of the way there. Okay. Now I have my pillow. You take your pattern and you would pin your pattern to your pillow. I like to use those little flat head steel pins. That way when you push them down, they go flat and they don't stick out. So when you start to do your crosses and your twists, they don't get caught on your pins. You can use any pin you like, but I found these work good. And they're short enough that when you put them in your pillow, they don't stand out because your pillow is too short and it hits something hard. Okay, so that is ready to go. Then the next thing you do is you want to prick your pattern piece, all your little dots. Now normally I have my pricker, but unfortunately I left my prickers at the store because I took it back to work for my demonstrating there. So I'm just using a straight pin. Does the same thing. Prick every hole in your pattern. That way when you get ready to actually do your bobbins, they can fit in those little holes very nicely. Okay, I have my pins here. Let me grab a few and stick them out because I always like to have a few ready to go. Okay, now what are we missing? Thread on our bobbins, that's what we're missing. Okay, so we're going to do that. Where did I put my thread? Here it is. Now there's several ways to wind your bobbins. You can use a bobbin winder, you can do it by hand. There's other methods. There's a lady I seen on YouTube today use a piece of string to wind her bobbins with. It was pretty clever of her. Okay, let me get that off. When I do mine, I hold my thread with my finger and make sure I have a lot near the top because that's what holds your little knot that we use in order to keep our thread attached to our bobbin. And then you come back up, and I usually do quite a bit. And then what I do is go around my thumb and I go under and catch it. Everybody has their own way. You'll find your way, but that gives me a knot that allows me to turn and take my thread off. Okay, so what I do now is cut the other end off because it takes 2 bobbins in order to do a cross and a twist. So we do the same thing. Wind it near the top because that's where your little slip knot's going to go, and then you wind this. Whoops, that's like getting it all tangled. Nope, over the thumb. That's what I do. I go over this thumb, I put the finger over top, then I stick it behind the thread that's on my thumb, and then I can grab it. I'm so used to doing it automatically, I don't even think about it. All right, so we have one bobbin ready. Let's go ahead and get the other bobbin ready. Now, another way to do it is pull off the amount of thread you think you might need. A lot of patterns will tell you how much thread you need. And then wind half of it onto one bobbin. Oh, there we go. I probably could have wound more. And wind another one. Now my problem is I get the words backwards. I say cross when I should say twist, and twist when I should say cross. To me, they should be the other way. But I need to do it the way they say to do it. Okay. Now what you can do if you have extra thread, pull your knot out, hold it with your finger, and you can go like this. And put some more thread on your bobbin without having to take the knot out. If you need to take the knot out, you can. And wind it some more. There we go. So now I got my second bobbin. So now my bobbins are ready. My paper's ready. Oh, that one is a little bit too long still. Now what I'm showing here is just the basic cross and the twist. So you put a pin in your top spot and move it up this way because I want you to be able to see the bobbins hanging. Let me make these a little closer because part of the problem is being able to see what the bobbins are doing. And when they're off the edge of the pillow, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, let me put the other one on. There, I have both. They should be roughly the same length, and they're not. So then you can grab your thread and unwind your bobbin. Try to get them both the same size. And one thing we have to remember, especially when we start, is each bobbin has a number. 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter which way the bobbins are laying, this one is always 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So let me go ahead and mark these. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3, and this is number 4. Okay, so I need to twist them each because I need to have one little twist up there. So now when you look at it, this one's now number 1, this one's 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So the first thing we're going to do is a twist. So we're going to twist number 2 over number 3. Now, 3 is number 2 and 2 is number 3. And now the cross, we take number 2 and number 4, and we take them over number 1 and number 3. So now this is a new setup. And then you can do another twist by taking 2 over 3, and you set a pin at this point in the hole, and you pull it snug. So now we're going to do it again. You do 2 over 3, 4 and 2 over 1 and 3, 2 over 3, and you pull it. And we've just done another stitch. You can put a pin. Okay, we'll do it again. 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3, and then 2 over 3 again, and pull it. Put a pin in. This is, they call this a plait. You use this on some of your designs where you have to have a line connecting a decoration here and a decoration here. You'd use this plait method to do it by doing a cross, twist, cross, twist, twist, cross, twist over and over again. So we'll do it again. 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3, and 2 over 3. Set a pin, and we'll do it again. 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3, 2 over 3. I have a habit of using my thumb to flip this one. It just makes it go a little quicker. This, that. See how my thumb did that? It just automatically does it. You'll find out after a while your fingers have memory and they'll remember what to do. So let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now your plait is done. So at this point, what we can do is if we take the pins out, I'll enlarge the picture, take the pins out, oh, wrong way. You have a nice little plait that keeps it shaped. Now sometimes, let me put them back. Let's just put one back. Say you make a mistake. You can see where each of your threads are, so you know this one was over this one, and you can see these two were over that one, and that one was over there. You can actually see your pin where your threads are, so you can just reverse the cross and the twist. That, whoop, I went the wrong way. Still going the wrong way. Looky there. This, that, that, that. Okay, and now this one over this one over this one. But you can actually see where you need to take your, now for some reason the lighter colors are a little bit easier to see, but you can actually take your work apart. Now sometimes when you're making a plait, they want you to start a little different. Each person who instructs differently. Let me get this all the way back to the beginning, and I'll show you another way that they would start the plait. Just trying to get the last thread separated. Here we go. All right. Now my, almost separated. Wrong way. Okay, there. Now my threads are separated, and I'm ready to start again. Put your pin, and you would do this one, and your other one you would put in the middle, like this. And then you do a twist where you cross them over, so that way you got your threads crossed. And then at this point, when you look at your numbers, it's still the same. You still have the same number sequence, and you would continue like you did before. 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3, 2 over 3. That's another way to start it. And you just keep repeating it over and over again to get your plait. I found if I go like this, it kind of tightens them up a little bit, and once in a while I have to pick them up so I can actually see the little dot. But it's still, the whole mechanism or movements are still the same. The only difference is how you started that. And each person, like I said, has their own way of doing things. But that's how you would make your plait the other way. But they both make the same plait. It just sometimes with that method, the very end is a little bit more knotted than if you don't cross them the way I did. Now, if you have this book, the first thing they have you do after you do the plait, because like I said, it's very detailed, which is awesome. They want you to do a bookworm with 2 beads. I'm going to skip the bookworm because it's a different, you use the plaits for the antennas and you use a cloth stitch through the center. I'm not going to do that in the first lesson. If you get the book, then you can follow it and do the cloth stitch back and forth and make this little weave. Instead, I like to start with the torsion ground, because to me the torsion ground is very important. Just about everything you do has torsion ground in it, between the spiders and the cloth stitch and all the other rose ground and a variety of other stitches. But the torsion ground is one of the most important stitches, so we're going to start with it instead. And I've got a pattern. Now this one says you need, I forgot how many, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You need 12 bobbins wound. So I'm going to pause the video while I wind 12 bobbins. Okay, what I did was I took this smaller pattern and enlarged it so that way it's a little bigger and easier for you to see. You'll see lines here. These lines are guides for me so I know if I'm changing my colors and how to go down the line. We're not going to change the colors here. We're just going to do all the same color. The next one we do, we definitely will mix colors into it. So this is the same pattern. Now you've already put on your paper and put your tape or contact paper over it and poked your holes all the way down. We may only go just so far because I don't want to waste a lot of time doing this whole thing. So I may put a little blocker there and then just show you how I finish up my bookmark. But to begin, I like to use this. This to me is a great way to get started because it holds your threads to bring to the center. If you start here in the center, I sometimes find it hard to finish the first one. By doing it this way, I definitely get to finish the first one. Okay, set of bobbins on each of the pins. And then you do your your twist to start with. Now let's do our motion. 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3. Set a pin. Repeat it. And then pull your pin out and pull your threads down. Now the first one's done. Now we're not going to use these. We're going to use these and the next set. There we go. And cross it over. Now we're going to repeat it with these. Set a pin. And then we're going to pull it. There. Now we're going to set another one. I said it's very repetitive. You just keep doing it over and over and over again, the same motion. Now we're also going to show you a different one. This one is more of a loose one, so when you're using a pattern that has very close dots and you're using a fine thread, this is the best torsion ground movement to use. The other one is as one extra stitch, like when we did the plait where we did a twist, cross, twist. This we're just doing a twist, cross, and then we repeat it. Okay, oh, we didn't repeat it. Twist, cross. Put that aside. Now we know those we don't need. I'll put a pin to hold it. Now go to the next one. Do the same thing. Twist, cross. Set a pin. Twist, cross. This one's not needed, so now we're going to use these. I found when I get ready to do this, it's too close right here, so a lot of times I'll set this off to the side. Personal option. And then repeat. We're getting there. We almost got this side done. Now we'll grab the last one for this side. Repeat our stitch. Okay, we got that. This whole side is now done. So at this point, you slide these over. Because now we want to go down this side. So we use the last set that we had before. And you see, I put all my pins around the edge of my pillow, and then I put my bobbins on the pins. That way I have them in order, especially if there's a color order. I set them in the color order, and you know which pin, which bobbin to pick up next. Okay, let's repeat. Put those aside because we're going to use these in the next set. Repeat. We're getting down to the last 3 bobbins. Oh, time to move this over. You can put it wherever you're comfortable. I always like to put it way off to the side. So far, so good. Grab the next one and repeat. I have a slight incline going this way on my pillow to help my bobbins stay laying this direction, and it's been helping. Okay. Okay, now I have all my bobbins on. You want to separate them on your sides. So as you can tell, these all are on one side and these all are on the other side. So now we're going to start working on this row. Okay, the next one we're going to do is right here in the center. One way to tell is take the two that you think are correct and crisscross them. If they make a perfect little X, then you know that's correct. If you pick up the wrong ones and try to do it, it's not a perfect X. You have to bring the other one up too far. So we definitely know these are the 4 we're going to be using. Repeat the same stitch, twist, cross, set a pin, twist, cross, move these aside because we're not going to use these. We're going to use these and the next 2. You never use more than 4 unless you're doing a spider or a specific stitch. It's always just 4. And then I always do a little tug, not a big tug because you don't want to pull it tight because you don't want them to pull the straight pins in. You just want to have a gentle tug so it lays nice and flat. Now after we do a few rows this way, I'm going to do a few with the other stitch where you do the twist, cross, twist. This one is just the twist, cross, twist, cross. Oh, there we go. And now we do the last one. Now, when you're doing the last one, you have to add an extra twist, an extra cross because you got a longer space here. That kind of helps fill it in a bit. You do it on both sides. Okay, so now that one's done. We'll set those aside and come back to the center. Now at this point you have 2 options. You can either go down this side and keep on working, or bring this one over and keep going this way. You can do it either way. Let me enlarge this a little bit so you can see where I'm at. I'm going to go this way on this one. You can do either way. Then you set your pin. Sometimes the bobbins like to roll, but that's bobbins for you. I hope I'm not going too fast. Please let me know in the comments if I am. I'm trying to be a little bit slow about it so you can see all the different stitches. Let go. There we are. We got 2 left. We got 2 bobbins and 2 dots, so we know we're in the right position. Now we need to pull this down a bit because, as you can see, it's getting a little short, which happens as you use them, so that's why you have that little knot so you can roll them down. Now we add that extra twist on for this end one. Okay, now this side is done. So then we go back to the center and decide, do we want to keep doing here to here and here to here, or just keep going one direction? It depends on what, if you have some kind of a design in here, you would do this way till you get to the design, and then you would finish this side until you get to the design. In this particular pattern, there is no design in the center, so you just keep going straight down, either way. I have a tendency to just keep going down one direction. That way I know where I'm at. Looks like I need to lengthen this one a little bit. Okay, so these we're not using. Keep bringing down a new set. Now we're at the edge, so we add that extra twist. There. Move this one over a little bit there so you can see. Now you can see there's 3 rows over here where there's only 2 rows over here. And you can either continue, go in this direction, which I'm going to do. Just move all your bobbins back till you find the center, and there's the center. And no, there isn't. That's not the center because you can't cross those 2 correctly. It's these 2. So it's always good to check every now and then to make sure you're in the right situation, the right spot. Let me get a pin in here. Sorry for my fingers being in the way. Got to pull this out a little bit. I'm going to do it again. And as you go, you keep bringing these bobbins over this direction until they're all completed, go in one direction. And then you can decide you want to keep going that direction or you want to switch and go the other direction. Especially if there's a pattern involved, you definitely have to maneuver around for your pattern. Because I'm going to show how to do the spiders and the cloth stitch where you have a wide band, and then how to do like the fan edging, which is kind of pretty. It's easy to do, but we need to take it one step at a time. Learning this is very important because most of your patterns have this stitch in it. It's kind of like a filler or a web stitch. Oh, that one didn't want to go in. There we go. Now we go back over here and start again. Or if we don't want to keep going this direction, we can go this direction. We can cross it this way. And you know if you're on track, if you have 3 dots. Let's see, yeah. What did I do? Something didn't come out. No, it's correct. Sometimes I get it wrong and then I have to unweave it, which is not uncommon. I make mistakes all the time. Now I'm at the edge, so we do that extra twist. So see, you can go either direction. It all works out the same because you have to keep going down the line. Okay, I'm going to continue on doing the same thing. I'm going to go all the way across this side. I need to get some pins out. Okay, now we have 4 rows of the torsion ground. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the next 4 rows in the other one where we do the extra twist. That way you can see the difference from where they meet on the pin. So this one would be twist, cross, twist. See, I added that extra one. Set a pin, twist, cross, twist. Now you notice there's no twist on these strings anymore, so you have to do an extra cross. So now we do the next one. Okay, so now we do the next one. Cross, twist, cross, pull. So it's close to your dot. Now we're going to repeat it. Twist, cross, twist, and 1 extra cross. Now these go off to the side. Let's do these. Cross, twist, cross. I'm sorry, twist, cross, twist. I always like to say it backwards. twist, cross, twist, and an extra cross. Really think it should be cross, twist, cross. It looks more like what I'm doing because I'm crossing, twisting, crossing, and an extra one. Okay, it's looking good. Last one, we had that extra cross. This is like when we did that plait by adding that extra twist. Twist, cross, twist, cross on the last one. So we add that extra one, so we have the extra cross there. All right, so now let's pull all these over. We're going to do the same thing. Twist, cross, twist. Set a pin. Twist, cross, twist. Move those aside, and we're going to use these now. Twist, cross, twist. Set a pin. Twist, cross, twist. Twist, cross, twist. Set a pin. Oh, gotta make sure I set it in the right spot. Oh, gotta make sure we do that extra cross. We didn't do that one there. Okay. Both of these ways are you can do for your torsion ground. It depends on if you need a little more filler because the pins are further apart, like I did here. And like I said, it's going to have a different, it'll be the same, but it'll have a little bit different look. Now, if you want, you can fast forward through some of this, so you don't have to keep watching me do this repetitious thing, but I have to get it down to a certain part before I can show you the difference. Add that extra one. Okay. Move this up a little bit because I want you to be able to see how the bobbins are working. Okay, now we go back to here. As you can see, this is where these two would cross over, so we know we're in the right spot. You can also tell you're in the right spot when you get to a V, there's one in the middle. Okay, keep going. A lot of repetition, but when you finish it, it looks so pretty, it's worth all of it. This pillow is kind of old, so the straight pins don't stay in it as snug as they should. But it's one of my favorite ones. I have a hard time not using it. It was the first pillow I ever made and the first pillow I've ever used, and it's so hard to switch. Add the extra twist because this is the end one. I like to go ahead and get my bobbin set up all at once if I can, if they need a little length. Okay, let me go to the other side. Push that down because you like to keep it flat on your pattern. Okay, now we're going to go this way. Get those out of the way. Straight pins come in handy for all kinds of stuff. If I push the bobbins down a little bit, for straight pins down a little bit farther, but not bend them, that might help. Okay, let's go back. I went ahead and added that piece of paper I was talking about, so I'm making it a little bit shorter so we can get this finished. Now see, this is as far as I can go on this end, so at this point I go this way. But over here, I still got this to go. So let's go over here and take care of this. Let's see, where am I at? Oh. And we do the next one. You can do a few and then tighten them up if you want to do it that way. Oh, I forgot to do that extra twist. Now another thing you can do if you run out of pins, as long as you leave the pins on the outer perimeter in place, you can actually take the center pins out and use them if you like. Okay, I got my second twist there. As long as I have pins, I use them. There we go. Oh, I gotta sit down for a minute. Gets rough on the back. Let me get a few more straight pins out. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go back to where we were. Looks like this is the next one. Okay. So we'll go ahead. Oops. This one doesn't, that one hasn't got a twist on it. Now it does. You always got to make sure you have that twist. Because without it, there's no twist in between each of the straight pins. So the twist is very important. Sometimes your design calls for a double twist. And when they call for that, then that's what you would do. We're getting there. Like I said, if you want, you can fast forward through some of this. I just want to do the whole thing on camera for those who want the whole thing. And those who don't, like I said, just fast forward through because it is very repetitious. There's several different ways to finish off your bobbin lace on a bookmark. If you go on to other YouTube videos, other YouTubers will show you other ways of finishing. I have my way I like to finish. You may find a way you like better. which is perfectly fine. Okay, see, there's no more for me to do here, so this one is done, so this one sets aside. Okay, now let's go back to the center. The same with this last one is done, so we'll set it aside. All right, now we'll go ahead and come this direction. I need to lengthen this one a little bit. In another video, I'll show how I join a new thread to an where a bobbin has ran out of thread. Now this one is getting really low, but I'm not going to do it on this one. Okay. I'll take the ones out of the center now. Okay, we have one more to do here. Okay, so now that one's done, so we set it aside. See, as you work your way down this side, you're using one less bobbin. I'm just going to have to stop using this pillow. Either that or add some more foam to it and then reshave it. That would be another idea. That way I can keep my favorite pillow because it has a little dip right here. See, I only have one spot left there. Okay, so these we don't use. Now we'll go back over here. As you can see, we're slowly having less and less dots to do, which is good news. When the bobbins get a little too short, they don't like to lay while you're using them. So you want to keep your thread at a comfortable length. Now this one's getting short again. Last one on this side. Okay. Okay, I'm down to the last 4 stitches. And after that, I'll show you how I end my bookmarks. Now, everybody ends them differently. You can check out all the YouTube videos out there and see which one you like to do. Some are easier than others. Like I said, it's entirely up to you which one you want to use. Down to like 3 stitches. As you can see, they just don't want to stay put. Okay, last one, right? Yeah. Huh, come on, get in there. Okay, so all the stitches are now done. So what we have left to do is to finish the tail for the tassel part of your bookmark. What I do is I bring these out very long. Maybe I'm trying to remember, do I do them before or after? Well, I have to make them a little bit longer anyway because these are a little bit too short. Okay, these are ready to go. Let me put them over there. Now let me get these a little bit longer. Oh, that one's tangled. We'll have to use a straight pin to untangle that one. So I'll worry about that later. Right now I just like to get these done for you. Okay, the way I found I like to do it is doing a half stitch for like a cloth stitch. You go 2 over 3. Well, actually it's what we've been doing. And then you take it over to the next one. And then you do the next one. And you do the last one. So you can see you got that nice little line there. Then you take your thread and move it up. I like to put another pin there, a little bit past center. And now you're not going to use this one anymore. That one is done. Pull it down a little bit. Okay, now we take the next one. Do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. You can do that if you like. 1, 2, 3. And that kind of helps keeps them close together. 1, 2, 3. And we don't do the last one. And we do that. And we do this one. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then put it over the straight pin too. Can't even get it over the pin. There we go. That way it's set aside and kind of has a little bit of tension to hold it straight. So as you see, it makes a nice little edging there. There are several different ways. I just found I like this way better. Than by putting a pin there, it just kind of holds everything for me. Oh, only a couple left. Just about there. And the last 2. There we go. Now this side is finished. And then put that one over too. Okay, so now this side is completely done. And then we have to pull it off to the side. Okay, now we're going to do this side, do the same thing. And we got my pin there. That's why I kind of have to make them a little extra long. Same thing, 2 over 3, 2 and 4 over 1 and 3, 2 over 3. And just repeat it all the way across. And then put it over the straight pin, just like we did before. Or you can put a new straight pin in and put it over a new straight pin. That can be done too. That way you don't get them mixed up. There, like that. Okay, so now we do the next one. You don't have to put the straight pin there, but I found it kind of helps keep the threads where you want them. I can't even get it to cooperate now. Oops, something's wrong. Okay, try again. Ah, there it goes. We didn't get that last cross. Okay. There we go. And that one goes over. All right, let's go back again. There we go. We're getting there, just a few more left. It'll be a lot easier if I was able to do it in my regular location and have the pillow sitting in front of me the right way, but it does work this way, a little practice. Okay, one more left. There, okay. So they're all done. So at this point, you want to pull, let me move this up. You want to get all the bobbins down long. I like to put them, have them hanging off the end of my pillow, because then you can cut the tail any length you want. But you want to leave the bobbins attached because they add the weight to keep the threads nice and straight while you finish the tying off. Now I like to do a square knot when I tie it off. I find a square knot seems to hold better than just a regular granny knot, but you can do granny knots too. Just about done. When you do your tie off, you can tie off with 2 threads or 4 threads. You can use the last 2 on either side or just the last 1 on either side. It all works. Four more. And after you do this, then you can take those 2 pins out, because all you need is the pins that are holding your work. Then you put 1 under one direction and 1 under the other direction. And then tie a knot. And you want the knot as far up to the top as you possibly could get it, because you want it to hold all those threads. I like to give it a good pull. Then I know all the threads are laying nice. I gotta pin it, it's not crooked, okay? I'm gonna bring it down and do it again. Okay, you put 1 under, 1 way, 1 under the other way, and then tie a knot. You can do as many of these as you want. I usually do 3 or 4. I want to make sure that it doesn't come loose. And then sometimes I'll tie a knot underneath. That way the final knot is behind your work instead of in front of your work. Didn't tie a knot that time. Let me get it over here. There. Okay, now I got my knot. At this point, then you decide how long you want your tail and cut it. So all your bobbins are now off of your work. Now the fun part. Pulling all your pins out and seeing what your finished work is. And I'll show you the difference between the two different stitches. I'm going to have to go back and find out what they're called. I'll put them in the comments so you'll know what the first one was called and what the second one was called. Like I said, I do it and I just don't pay attention to what it's called anymore because I just enjoy doing both of these stitches. Just about got all the pins out, but I'm leaving my edge pins in on purpose because I want to leave them in for a little while to help kind of secure these stitches in place. Oh, just about done. It's enjoyable putting the pins in, but it's a pain in the butt taking the pins out. Okay, I got all the pins out now. Okay, if you look close, I'll enlarge it so you see the difference. This particular one is a very small little square. See, this very tiny little square. And when you go into the other one, it's more of a rectangular shape. So it takes a little bit more space up. So here you see there's a nice space in between each of your stitches and just that single cross. And when you're doing a large space, that single cross there sometimes can get a little loose. But when you do this particular one here, the cross is still there, but they're definitely closer together. So those are the two different stitches that I like to do when I make the torsion ground. It's up to you which one you want to do. I'll go ahead and take the pins out now. The reason I wanted to wait till I showed you the two different ones is because it moves around a lot. Almost done. As you can see, it's moving around already, just taking the pins out. Last three. Okay, there. Now it's finished. Let me put a piece of paper underneath of it. There. Now see this bottom half, I pulled these a little bit tighter when I was working with them, and you can see how I dipped in a little bit. Try to keep your tension the same so you don't have this little dip in. You can't stretch it back out. It's just, it is what it is now. But that's how you would do your basic torsion ground and make a bookmark. Of course, your bookmark would be longer. I made mine short, so due to time constraints. But I hope you enjoyed it. I'll leave any notes in the comments at the bottom if there's anything you want to tell me or show me. And I will definitely put the name of the two different stitches, this stitch and this stitch, in the comments also.